In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Title Agents Podcast. Today, I have Hope Ottoviani, Director of Operations at Alltech National Title. We're going to discuss scaling without borders and how Alltech National Title built a global remote title team that supports the U.S.-based team. Welcome, Hope.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
So, Hope, when you first started building out Alltech National Title remote and offshore operations, what challenges or opportunity were you solving for?
I was solving for getting us on the same page with mainly COVID to start, if you want to be honest. When the COVID pandemic happened, we had to quickly work without skipping a beat, and we were able to do that pretty well with, we were able to send printers to home and everybody was able to work remotely and recording was online. So we were able to solve that problem pretty quickly and work remotely. The problem is we didn't want to give it up, right? Then the COVID pandemic, passed and we kept that remote ideology for people working from home, and it's worked pretty successfully thus far.
But we've had a remote operation team for almost 10 years now before COVID. And I think COVID accelerated that progress or process.
It accelerated everybody. So the fact that everybody had to get on board kind of helped us move what we were waiting on. The e-signings, the RON, the e-recordings, everybody started getting on board, which made it a lot easier.
What was the moment you realized global remote talent could actually enhance Alltech National Service and not just reduce costs? Because it was never about cost. Cost was secondary. It's what I always say.
Yeah. And it's funny because using people offshore, there's a lot of talent. So I don't care where they're coming from. If they've got innate talent that I can mold and grow and build on, I'm going to grab them from our team as quickly as possible and show them the ATG way, show them our core values. So the fact that we weren't just, stuck here locally, here's your area, here's where you have to hire. No, we were able to go beyond and offshore and grab talent globally. And that has helped us enhance our automation, our workflows, and the way we do business.
And I know things have been tough the last couple of years, but if everybody remembers, 19, 20, 21, it was insanely competitive. We couldn't really find people to hire or need talent. And it was very restrictive. You want to hire a specific geography, it makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, I agree. It was really tough to find people locally, especially without having that entitled behavior we all kind of deal with as challenges of that local hire approach. But going offshore and finding those people some of them know 3 or 4 languages. Some of them they've got master's degrees. And that's what I want to do is build more leaders, build more people who are smarter than me, because that's going to, augment your company. It's going to improve the way you do business.
So how did you approach setting expectations and KPIs for remote pre-processors, data entry, title clearing, and all of the different divisions?
Well, I've got to break it into chunks first. And I know you taught me that was, if you look at it a whole or a big picture, and there's a lot of stuff coming at you, a lot of data. So I break it into chunks. I look at the department first, and then I say, well, what do they do? What's the milestone of tasks that they handle, that they're accountable for every day? Then we break it into how do we measure that to manage it? And then you can get those key performance indicators. Well, this person does open order. Well, we need to know how quickly they're doing it, how accurate they're doing it, how many they're doing. So then you move on to the next department. All right, so this person is a title examiner. That's going to be a little different than order opening. So you really got to break it into chunks, which is going to help you then form that big puzzle, the big picture.
Yeah. So how does accountability look like across different time zones, not only in the U.S., we have the different time zones, but also like a global time zones?
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of tasks, and I know it's hard. People have that mindset where, I've been doing this for 30 years. I already know what I'm doing. But if you're going to scale and you're going to move globally, you need to have tasks, and everybody has to have that accountability chart, those accountability milestone tasks assigned to them. And then with the system or the title platform you can have auto triggers that auto complete those tasks based on movement in the file. So it's really getting that right platform, having those set milestones per department, and then you can start automating and get those tasks completed a lot easier. Because that's what people see. They're like, oh my God, I've got 40 tasks. Now I've got to, complete all of them. Well, if you're doing the right movement, the system will auto-complete them for you.
There's priority. Not all tasks are equal, and some are due today, some are due tomorrow. So 40 may seem overwhelming, but how many do today? Or
breaking into chunks. Exactly. Like if you're just working on this part of the file, then focus on just that part. If you look at all the tasks at one, of course it looks overwhelming. You got to break it into departments, into tasks.
So how did you train the leadership team to manage remotely without micromanaging? If that makes any sense.
I know. It's, again, tasks are huge, but the system helped us too. And the way we communicate is different. I can't just yell down the hallway. I can't just, talk to them in person. Hey, come to my office. Let's chat. No, I had to constantly live by my calendar. So I would set reminders to follow up with my leadership, and I would have them do the same. Hey, I'm following up with you. You're my direct report. You need to follow up with your team once a week. We also do company morning huddles with the entire global, like we do it from offshore, and we do it onshore, and we always do that at 9:30 a.m. every morning, East Coast. And then just Zoom meetings, follow-ups. I even reach out if I know somebody's been shining bright. I, as the COO, reach out to that person, and they may feel like it's random, but just saying simple thank you can do wonders. So just noticing, recognition, using the system, and living by your calendar.
What's been the biggest key to maintaining our culture, Alltech National's culture across different continents and countries? And
I think repetition and, again, communication, like core values, for example. Our core values are everywhere. We have it in our signature blocks. We reiterate it in the meetings. The way we interview is based on our core values. So I think it's just, if you say it once, it's not going to stick. If you say it twice, it's not going to stick. But if you it's always there. It's in your emails. It's in the system. It's in the meetings. It's part of your platform. I think that's huge. It's just constant communication and living by your calendar to remind you to constantly communicate. I do it often. Like, hey, remember to tell these people about what KPIs they're accountable every month.
What are some key core values that you live by?
Yeah, so we have 5, but the technology, personal and professional growth, innovation kind of goes to the technology, which I love because ever since I've been here in 2011, I feel like we've always been ahead of the curve with Mo's, way of thinking. So technology, innovation, humility, charitable, giving back to the community, win together, earn together, like teamwork. So those are just a few that we live by.
Can you share a story from a remote team, either in Morocco or Philippines, that shows how this model works very well? I think we have teams in Morocco and the Philippines, correct? And maybe India as well.
Yeah, we got teams everywhere. But like one of the ladies that I work closely with, she has always been a leader, kind of like my backbone. And I think it's all about who you have in those leadership positions too, to kind of keep that core value, that vision going, because I'm not there in person offshore. So you have to find that right person who's an extension of you.
I don't think you never left the US as of yet.
I have not. So it's funny that I've never even gone and seen these teams in person. And yet here we are, it's 5 to 6 years later, maybe even longer. And the teams are flourishing. They've got the vision, they live the vision, they bleed the vision. And how do we do that? It's just constant communication and finding that right person who's going to be an extension of you and the face of the company overseas.
So how do you celebrate wins and build camaraderie remotely? And I will keep harping, but we just clearly want to kind of open the title agents' minds, especially the ones that have been resistant to a kind of letting go and kind of hiring remote, either here in the US or offshore. I mean, we're not pushing either.
Yeah. And again, constant communication, but I love, again, those touches. You have to constantly touch. 15 years I've been here. I never think that I'm too good or I'm too busy or I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I still send a coffee to somebody randomly in Maryland. I still send a lunch to somebody in Texas because I notice. So you have to keep your eyes open. I know there's a big picture, the company's moving forward, but you can't forget about the people who are helping you to move forward. So I have my direct reports. That's great. We have less than 100 employees. That's great. But I never forget anybody. And I always, shout outs are great. Incentives are wonderful too, but you'd be surprised how more impactful a simple thank you and a notice or recognition to somebody for doing something awesome, like taking a few files over that somebody who left. I mean, just something small. It's coming from management means a lot.
Let's move to my favorites. Always innovation. How can we innovate and use technology? What tech stack or communication tools have been most critical to connecting Alltech's team and clients and vendors?
We use Microsoft Teams a lot for our company morning huddles and our chats. Even our Halloween flyer, we disperse that through our Microsoft Teams channel. The leadership team, we use Slack, so that's been a good way to kind of consolidate the information. I know it's his favorite, especially because emails are overwhelming. Let's be honest. I mean, all of us get 500 plus a day, and it's mainly transactional. But for leadership, that's different communication, different conversations. You want to keep that separate. So use a different platform for your direct reports. Bloom Growth, amazing. We love the EOS platform on accountability.
What is that? Can you explain? The EOS, it's an entrepreneurial operating system.
Correct. And we just started it a couple of years ago, maybe within the last 3 years, but I have kept that going consistently every week. And it's a platform that allows us to kind of create channels, create meetings, and create accountability charts. It'll allow you to create these KPIs per department, closing ratio, open orders, closed orders, and then track them with color coding, red, great, bad, green, good every week. And then you can create milestones and quarterly goals. We call them rocks with the EOS platform. But it just keeps you guys on track. Like, you've got to keep that needle moving forward every time of the day.
Have there been any surprising workflow improvements that came from going remote?
I would say the fact that we're remote, I was able to really enhance our automation and the smart action triggers, because when you go remote, and even nationally or globally, there's different transaction types that you don't know, different areas you don't know. So we had to learn. And instead of having boots on the ground, somebody telling us what to do, we learned. And then we implemented what we learned in the system by a smart action trigger. So every time we have a transaction in that area or township, a trigger would pop up with a document list of what we learned on the last transaction. So really, it's like you don't have to have that boots on the ground. It's helpful, but you'll learn. The underwriters will help you. The resources will help you. And then you just implement those smart action triggers, which has been crucial for me in all the areas in 39 states that we're in. Every transaction we have, I learn, I implement, and I add it as a trigger.
And you know how I feel about AI, and I think the whole world knows how I feel about AI. And I can imagine once that's get kind of another layer over automation, what's going to look like, and how literally kind of enhance that experience and literally free up our talented team here to kind of pay attention to clients and make their life even easier.
Yeah, I will say I'm really excited about the AI piece. I mean, even Microsoft Outlook, all of those pieces are now having like add-ons of the AI piece. And even our title platforms are starting to do it as well. And with that addition, I can only imagine how it's going to help your team, your operations staff. And when I say that, I mean, like right now, if you get emails, you get Connect invitation, you get Qualia invites, you get communication through 6 different platforms. It's a lot coming at you. The AI will be able to consolidate, so you can ask AI, what did I miss on this closing? It'll tell you, hey, this communication came in from this platform. So it should be able to consolidate all the communication in a few platforms. And I think that's going to help kind of streamline the way we communicate.
You're talking about I'm not a big fan of Microsoft, but we have to use Outlook.
Yeah.
What I love that feature where you can summarize the conversation. Somebody like adds me to an email chain has like 40 back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Like the people don't have the kind of the awareness or the mind or the awareness to kind of fill you in on you start to go back and read the like 40 bullet points. But if now it's amazing as a co-pilot, click a button, summarize gives you
Right.
it's incredible. Kind of just you're just making it faster, more efficient, more.
Yes. And for people like entrepreneurial minds like you, I mean, you're on the go and it's easier to have bullet points. If you can't produce images or visuals or bubble charts, get bullet points because I could be on a 3-hour meeting and that's fine for me. But if I need to give you high level bullet points, boom, Copilot, customize, there you go.
Yeah, my reading level, so it's not
Yep. Elementary.
lessons and advice. What didn't work early on? How did you adjust on that going remote and more specifically, more the offshore team? And we had that since 2016, 2015 when we started.
Yeah, right when I started managing too. And it's like, we started it pretty much together. And I think the one thing that didn't work was having cookie cutter kind of workflow, like one size fits all, or that one person, like we would assign all administrative duties, all payoffs to that one person. And as you scale and grow, it's not scalable. You've got to automate. You've got to include other teams, roles, round robin tasks in the platform you have. Like you have a group of 3 and then you have round robin tasks. So it just automatically gives out caseloads that are more even so that you don't have to manage it. The system will do it for you. That's been huge. But early on, it was just, I was thinking this person can do everything. And then we grew nationally. Cookie cutter didn't work. The one person didn't work. I had to think outside the box. I had to think quickly.
Yeah, the national residential resale and commercial resale is different beast. The refinance easy, but purchase has so many different nuances.
Way different.
Customs, the local customs, laws, regulations, and so much. It's like a fire hose kind of thing.
Yes. And especially the municipalities, when you start getting into the attorney states or in Pennsylvania or Maryland, you've got all these different townships that are their own areas. Like they're like Houston and San Antonio, totally different. Like you got to learn all of those and quickly and pretty efficiently. So use the system, smart action triggers and roles, round robin tasks.
What advice would you give to another title agency owners or managers considering offshore or hybrid operations right now?
I would focus on the pre-processing first. That's kind of how we started. So instead of, again, looking at it as, oh, this is too big, where do I even start? Break it into chunks and maybe start like with, here's your streamline workflow. What's the first thing you do? Order open. Okay, so focus on that. Let's focus on order open. Then you assign the tasks. What's mundane tasks? Put a little whiteboard together. What are the small tasks that you can offshore or automate? Then you kind of minimize that into the departments. Then you can decide, okay, these 3 departments I want to offshore. Everything else stays onshore. But then you break it up instead of looking at it as a whole picture. And then you can kind of look at those task milestones and offshore the easy ones.
Yeah, I've always been a believer, like as you know, that's like why would you have like a skilled escrow officer or closer attorney that costs you that their pay is 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever that hourly rate, do a $15, $20 task. Just kind of a misuse or misallocation of their skills. You want them to do high level skills, high level duties and tasks, so they can focus on the customer experience, which is more important than anything else at the end of the day.
I couldn't agree more. And we have had people like that who are just so skilled and experienced. And I know a lot of our operations team, they're kind of control freaks. They've done it. This is how I've done it for 30 years. But it's like when you look at it, opening an order only takes 2 minutes. Add 30 of those 2 minutes. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. Like you're spending all those 30 minutes. You got to do a staffing metric. All those 30 minutes and all those order opens, that's not way to scale. You've got to offshore the easy stuff. Heck, AI is now doing order entry and they're doing, contract reading and stuff like that. That can minimize your time twofold, right? That's going to be a lot. And then you can focus on the bigger pieces of the transaction, like the CSATs, the customer satisfaction, the client face, going to the closing table, reaching out to the opposing agent, getting those transactions to you. So it's just missed opportunity.
That's awesome. I know we use our friends at Safi Virtual. This is not a plug. This is not an advertisement. This is the company we've been using for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And how would people connect with you? They want to kind of have questions or...
give me a call or shoot me an email. We've used Safi Virtual for years now, and I could not be happier. I've been with the company for 15 years. I've seen it grow. I've been in 4 different programs and platforms. And I will tell you today where we at I'm able to do so much more as a COO. I mean, considering all that I'm doing, I'm able to do it because of the AI and the automation, the 200 plus smart action triggers that we've been able to implement. So, I mean, if you want to reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me an email. I can, I don't know if I should provide it here on the Hope, HOPE.
We'll add it to the show notes. Yeah.
But yeah, I loved, as you can tell, I'm passionate about creating these workflows and automation. It's what I started at in 2011. They had just gone paperless. I have never worked a paper file. I will tell you that now. I've never worked a paper file. And I owe it all to the company and Mo, because right when I started, I only know digital. I only knew paperless, which is great. It's really.
I remember the story of a lot of resistance early on about going paperless. And I had to stop ordering paper folder files. Look, we're not buying any more boxes. That's quite a thing. There's no more folders left to use.
And that's so fun. It boggles my mind when people still, because I never worked that way. So I think I'm the perfect person to lead and kind of train on this, because this is all I know, so I don't know the paper files, but it boggles my mind when people still print stuff. I'm like, print? Even checks boggle my mind.
Well, Hope, thank you so much, though. It was very insightful, and have a wonderful day. See you next episode.
See you next episode.
In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey